There's now a third choice in the market if you're shopping for a relatively affordable electric SUV. So there's the Atto 3, there's the Omoda E5, now there's this, the MG ZS EV. It's a single variant which will cost you 126,000 ringgit. If you're unfamiliar with MG, it is a British brand which is now owned by SAIC, and under SAIC there's also brands like Maxus and Wuling. You may have seen spy shots of the pre-facelift MG ZS EV in Malaysia before, and now we finally have it officially launched in Malaysia. Naturally, this facelift also introduces some upgrades to the ZS EV. Now this is a compact electric SUV and it looks like a decent city runabout. It isn't a dedicated EV, which means there's a petrol version of the MG ZS. And with that being said, I do appreciate that the battery pack doesn't jut out too much at the bottom like some other ICE-based EV SUVs. You get a set of LED headlights at the front, and like I said, this is a facelift of the MG ZS EV. So previously the pre-facelift had a fake grille at the front which hid the front charging port. Charging port is still at the front like a Chery Omoda E5, like a Hyundai Kona Electric, but now the front end gets a more closed-off EV-like appearance. Another EV-like appearance feature on the MG ZS EV would be the aero caps on the 17-inch wheels. So these work like the aero caps that you see on Tesla cars, and you can pull them off and you will see a set of alloy wheels behind it. There's not much else going on the outside of these ZS EVs. You do get plastic claddings, you do get functional roof rails, and you do get keyless entry, but for the front doors only. Inside, it seems to be inspired by Mazda, especially if you look at the trims on the dashboard, these knee paddings on the center console, and the air vent shapes on the side. It just doesn't get that high positioned head unit screen, so this one is embedded into the dashboard. It's 10.25 inches in size. You do get Apple CarPlay, you do get Android Auto, and you also get a 360-degree view. Another screen here is the 7-inch display for the digital instrument cluster. You also get conveniences like a USB-A port, a USB-C port, and a 12-volt socket at the front. You also have a wireless phone charger right here. As for conveniences, we get this fancy cup holder with this fancy cover on the center console, and you also get a moderately sized center armrest storage box. The driver's seat is power adjustable, but with no memory function, and the passenger seat is manually adjustable. Like the MG4, it does get a rotary type gear selector, and the most intriguing thing on the center console right here would be the button which is labeled KERS. So it sounds like this should be something fun to drive. Or is it? Space at the back is decent in terms of headroom and legroom, and you get some conveniences like 2 air vents, 1 USB-A port, and this center armrest with 2 cup holders. The best thing about the interior is perhaps the panoramic sunroof. So this makes 176 metric horsepower and 280 Newton meters of torque, which is slightly less powerful than its rivals. It does 0 to 100 in 8 seconds. Its suspension setup is a McPherson strut at the front and a torsion beam at the back. Now, if you're particular about this thing, be mindful that the BYD Atto 3 and the Chery Omoda E5 both have multi-link setups at the back. This one has a torsion beam setup. The charging port opens sideways and the flap isn't too big, so I can appreciate that. AC charging is capped at 7 kilowatts single phase, and this takes 8 hours to fully charge. DC charging is capped at 50 kilowatts, and this takes 54 minutes to go from 10% to 80% state of charge. On a full charge, you can supposedly drive for up to 320 kilometers. Big question for an EV, does this have a frunk? Nope, it doesn't. There's only an inverter, and of course there's the electric motor here since this is a front-wheel drive EV. For storage, you will have to rely on the boot, where there's 448 liters of space with all the seats up and over 1,000 liters of space with the back seats down. There's only one variant of the MG ZS EV, and included in the 126,000 ringgit price tag is a 7-year, 150,000 kilometer general warranty and an 8-year, 180,000 kilometer high voltage battery warranty. For more information on the car, head on to AutoBuzz.my.